Now let's talk about initializing structures. So here we have a movie structure and a movie object. Now let's see what happens if we print movie.release year. Take a look. So just like uninitialized variables, we get this chunk value. So whenever we create an instance of a structure, it's always a good practice to initialize its members. So here we can type an equal sign followed by braces. In fact, the equal sign is optional. You can leave it out, but I prefer to add it for clarity. Now, in this initialization list, we provide values for these members in order. So the first value is going to be assigned to the title member, and the second is going to be assigned to the release year. So here we can initialize this with Terminator and 1984. Now, we don't necessarily have to initialize all members, so we can leave out the release year. But that means if we have any other members after the release year, we cannot initialize them either. For example, if we add another member here called isPopular, we cannot skip the release year and initialize isPopular. If we pass a Boolean here, look what happens. The compiler thinks we are assigning this value to the release year, which is not what we want. So let's change this back to 1984. Good. Now, we can also give these members a default value. For example, we can initialize this to true or false, if it makes sense. We can initialize this to a number like 0. But for strings, we don't really need to initialize them because by default, they're initialized to an empty string, and this doesn't cause any harm. So I'm going to leave this out. We can give the release year the default value of 0. And for popular, again, we don't need to set this to false because Boolean variables by default are false. So that's all we had to do.